to be back for another pregnancy update. I'm currently 17 weeks and 3 days, and I can't believe it's already been over a week since my last one of these. I'm going to be going through some of the app features that I use because I just think it's so cool. I use that blue Ovia app here, and I've used that every pregnancy. I've tried other ones and I just always come back to this one because it's like the most fun in my opinion. It shows you the size of the hand this week, the size of the actual baby. So like this week it's the size of a pomegranate. Yeah, there we go. So that's a full grown baby hand, and that's like how big the baby's hand is right now. And then same with the foot. It's so stinking cute. So I'll just read this. 17 weeks pregnant, your baby's senses are coming along and his brain is beginning to control his heartbeat. His umbilical cord is also getting better at delivering nutrients, which I'm feeling. Your sleep schedule could start being disrupted and you might notice weird dreams as a result. That is also true. Something that I also read on my app this week was that round ligament pain would increase, like that feeling of like when you stand up too fast or you do anything too fast, your like uterus just like contracts and like feels like a big Charlie horse in your belly, and that has been so hard. I feel like I've constantly been having issues with that. So I just think it's funny when it's spot on to what you're experiencing. I definitely feel like my placenta has like taken over the hormonal load a lot more than before. My nausea, I would say, is completely gone, except for like some of the food aversions are still here. So I feel like that's kind of hard because like I'm not nauseous, so I feel like I should be able to eat whatever I want, but then like I sit down to eat something and it's just like I can't eat it, I can't do it. So I feel like that's still been kind of rough, like just being more picky. I have been having a lot of weird dreams, and saying that he's now 5 inches long, it's so big. That always shocks me. I'm like, there's something like that long in me right now and I don't even really feel it. That's another thing. So with my second pregnancy, Ezra, I felt him kick, like move. I felt movement from like 12 weeks on, maybe even earlier than that. And I found out later that I had a posterior placenta, and so his kicks were just like really apparent like the whole pregnancy. I didn't feel Zeke move, my first pregnancy move, until 18 weeks. So I'm 17 weeks now, and I've definitely felt some movements, but just not near as much as what I did with Ezra. And so it's like naturally easy to get nervous, but at the same time I'm like, I didn't feel Zeke move until 18 weeks, and I could just have like a normal placenta and like not be feeling him until later, which is fine. I've been having trouble taking my prenatals, which is not good. I've recently asked Zach, my husband, for more accountability with making sure I'm taking that, especially if I'm not eating like all the nutrient dense foods right now. I really need to be taking that because, and my app reminded me of that this week. Says that you can help baby boy out but with the bone hardening process by making sure you're getting plenty of the usual suspects: calcium, magnesium, iron, vitamins A, C, and D, and then a couple of the less common nutrients like riboflavin and phosphorus. So those are all in my prenatal, and I also take an additional vitamin D and additional magnesium and calcium. So if I were just taking those, I wouldn't have to be like as freaked out about my diet, but like I just have been having the hardest time taking pills. I feel like I'm at the stage now where like there's no excuses, I just need to be taking them. I do have, this next week, I have my anatomy ultrasound, which is like by far my favorite because it takes longer, so you just get to stare at them for like 20 minutes or even longer sometimes. And it's also going to be the confirmation of his gender. So obviously we did the blood test. I trust that test, but you know, I live with all boys, and so there's that slight chance that it picked up some male DNA and it's actually a girl. So I haven't bought anything, I've not done anything like project wise for him until that gender is confirmed. So that's exciting. We will be filming at that appointment, so stay tuned because next week I will be posting an ultrasound video so we can kind of track his growth and just get to know this baby boy a little bit better. I feel like it's weird with Ezra's pregnancy. I just felt so in tune with him. Like I knew about him from like the second he was conceived, and I felt him kick so early, and like I just like that desire for him was so strong that like when I finally found out, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant and it's viable, I felt so connected to him. And we also had a name picked out like really early. And like I think we always knew that if we had a second boy, his name would be Ezra. And so it was just easy, you know. And with this one, I think because I didn't know I was pregnant for so long, and like obviously we wanted more kids, but like timing wise, I mean, not necessarily right now. Obviously I wouldn't do anything differently. The timing is going to be awesome, but oh man, that reflex. Yeah, I don't feel like super connected to this baby yet. I'm also, my hands are so much more full now too. Like I have 2 kids to take care of while fighting nausea and fatigue, and it's like I just think it feels different the 3rd time around. So I know that the connection will come. I know I love this baby, but it's just like, I think because we haven't named him yet either. In my last update, I talked about how we had a name picked out, but we weren't like 100% sure. Well, I've thought on it more and more and like talked about it more and more, and I just don't love the name that we have picked out. Like I do, but I don't. So I think we've talked about having like a list of 5 names, 5 to 10 names, if we can come up with that many, that we like. And then maybe possibly wait till he's born and see him and just kind of get a feel for that. Like we've never done that before, and that makes sense to me and it feels right. And I think that would be really cool to not name him until he's here. So it's also just harder, like the more kids you have, the more weight there is on the name, because it's like it kind of has to vibe with the other ones. And it's been really hard for me to find a name that vibes well with Ezekiel and Ezra. We call him Zeke, so Zeke and Ezra. But it's like I would really like it to be biblical so we can kind of stay with that theme, but like I'm also not like completely hooked on that. I just want the name to mean something, and it's been really hard to find a name that like means something special to me. I have a name that I love, but Zach he's been hard to convince on it, so I guess we'll see how that all pans out. But now the app says, how is mom? The main pregnancy symptom for women around week 17 is round ligament pain. Yes. Felt in the lower stomach and pelvis as the uterus expands and puts pressure on the nearby ligaments. In order to deal with these pains, try lying on your left side rather than your back, stretching, maternity belt to support. I still don't feel like my belly is all that big, but like we went on a long walk today because it's finally good weather here, and sure enough, like I feel like my pelvic floor is just like already weak. Like it's just like already being pushed on, and I'm like, dang it. This is gonna be rough, because this is kind of how it was with Ezra, and it's happening even earlier now. And so I'm like, I might need a maternity belt this time, because ouch. It just feels like almost like I'm healing from my last birth again. Like I can't, this is TMI, but I can't like sit on the toilet for very long. So, or else it just starts to hurt and feel like pressure. And I'm like, I'm only 17 weeks. I feel like that's really early for that to be happening, especially because baby's not even that big yet. But I guess everything's moving and everything's shifting, so it's probably normal. I have started waking up in the night again. So at the very beginning, I was waking up every night to go pee in the middle of the night before I knew I was pregnant, which is like a symptom of early pregnancy. This time I didn't know I was pregnant, so I just thought, I need to stop drinking so much water in the evenings. But then I think as of this last week, I've started waking up again in the night to have to pee. And so now I think it's more of a size thing, like pushing on my bladder in the middle of the night. So that's kind of been hard, but I do fall back asleep fairly quickly, so it's not like a big deal. Yeah, I think that's all from the app this week. It's just so cute to like see the baby. Wow, I'm coming up on halfway. It says, okay, today it has a baby development update. Baby boy's fingers and toenails are coming in, but don't worry, he won't scratch. That's so cute. Yeah, I would say my energy is, okay, not my energy. My desire to do things is back up. So like, we've been talking about painting our house ever since we moved here last May, and now that it's warming up outside, I cannot stay off of Pinterest and YouTube and just like watching people paint their houses. I'm like, let's do it. And we got a quote from an actual contractor, and he quoted us 10 grand to do it. And I was like, I understand it's a lot of work, and they would have a whole team out here, so I understand that quote, but I'm like, I could do it for 500. So, but the issue with that is like I know that there's like a lot of drive coming from nesting, which has totally hit earlier than it's ever hit. Like I feel this incessant need to get everything done. I keep making lists. I keep starting projects. Like for instance, this room that I'm sitting in is currently trimmed out to paint because when we moved in, oh, it's like a tan color, it's really neutral, so it's not bothered me all that much. But the rest of our house is like a light, like milky gray white. And so for it to be right up next to that, it looks really warm. Like it looks really tan, even though it's more of just like an off-white. So I've been dying to paint this room. Well, it's trimmed out and I'm doing it, like it's happening. And then just like all the, like I have like a whole list of things I want to do before he comes, and like things I want to do outside before he comes. And I like organize my list. Like I just get so crazy when I'm pregnant. I've been like cleaning out my pantry and like organizing drawers. Like it's hitting, which I'm thankful for because we did move last year, and I feel like when you move, everything just gets like put somewhere when you move in, and then you don't, like you have so much to do and so much to organize that you just like don't get everything where it should be, and then you just start to live in that and you don't realize how dysfunctional it is until like you're actually organizing later. So I'm super thankful to be able to be nesting this year because it's time. It's time for us to do some stuff here, and it's always a perk because I'm like, hey, more video content. Like, yeah, I keep saying in every video, just keep following my nesting journey because it's gonna be a fun ride of projects, like, and just organizing and getting things more functional. I will do a bump shot. I do think that I finally like you can tell now I'm pregnant. Like you can tell if someone were to see me. Well, I guess it also depends on what I'm wearing. Like if I'm wearing a big hoodie, like no, you can't tell. But if I'm wearing something like more form-fitting, or like if the breeze blew and it like blew against me, you'd be able to see. So it's definitely not rounded out yet. I feel like until I hit like 25 weeks, it's just like, did she gain some weight? Like it just kind of is, especially because it's not my first pregnancy. I feel like the skin, like the previous skin that's there from like previous pregnancies, is just like so like loose. I don't know, not loose. I don't have like loose skin. It's hard to explain. It just sits lower, and so it kind of is, it doesn't round out as much until like I am like, it's hard, if that makes sense. So I'll do a bump shot. I'm doing a lot better this week. I'm excited to see what my app says for next week, and yeah, I think it's fun that I get to track this pregnancy probably closer than I have any of my others, and I'm just super excited to meet this baby. Stay tuned for so much fun content coming up. See, like if I was walking on the street, like you probably wouldn't notice, but if the wind blew, I don't know, maybe you still wouldn't notice, but I think it's definitely come out. And it's like hard, which is such a fun part. Well, thanks for tuning in today. I will be back next week for an 18-week update and lots of other videos to come. We've got a couple that I'm planning to post either this weekend or early next week. So yeah, see you in the next video.